Went on an interview. Went on an interview
Yes.
today. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me the criteria of what I would be doing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something I've done in my previous job,
Okay.
supervisory work, a whole bunch of spreadsheets, blah blah blah. So, they're going along, they're talking about it, and then I go, "Okay, so can you tell me
Uh,
what the salary would be?"
all right. Hold that thought.
And they
All right. Well,
say,
hello everyone. Welcome back to Into the Woods. This is Dwayne,
"This is Danita. Hi, everyone."
and we hope you had a great week. I'm so excited that it is Friday, even though we've got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. What was your week like?
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Tired, but that's still good.
Good tired, right? Good tired.
Yes. Yes.
So welcome, guys. This is, like I said, Into the Woods, and this is our family show, right? So we are called the Woods. Dwayne Wood, Danita Wood. There's seven of us, six of us. Sorry, there's six of us, and so the goal of the show is to help you to maybe identify with some of the things that we do. And as we talk, this is therapy for us. Danita, I was thinking about
Mhm.
that the other day. I said
Yeah,
we're
it is.
we're we're doing therapy on ourselves. We're coaching ourselves as we go through some of these shows.
That's
But the
so
hope is
true.
that you identify with us and we can all come out of the woods together. You get it? Into the woods, out of the woods? Yeah, yeah.
I was.
Anyway, so that's the idea. And if you have not done so already, go ahead and go back to our other episodes and watch those. Give us some comments. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us one thing that you take away from one of those episodes. We'd love to hear that from you. And if you've not already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a free account on YouTube, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be alerted when new shows come out. Let's see what else. If you're on any other other social media platforms, come on over here, right? To talk to us over there, but come over here, watch the shows while we are going live. Now, Danita, you said that you didn't see it, but I took a clip from our show, and I created. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But yeah, so I created one and I posted it, and we've been getting comments about it. People like
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. They're like, this is cool. Let me see if I can. Okay, so now I gotta find it. Let me just go to the video here on my
Okay.
phone because I think that's gonna be the easiest way to do it.
Mhm.
And where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, so let me put it up. Let's do this one. Okay, and let me get that up. Wow, why is it not playing? Okay, here we go. Let me put it up on our screen. Our newly created
Okay.
one is that often we think that there's something wrong with
Aw.
us because we have an emotion. I mean, we'll say things like, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sad," or "I don't know
Oh,
what's
you
wrong
know
with
what?
me because I'm mad." So guys, let me take that one off because that one has some music. So we don't want the music police. Okay, I'll have to find one where there's no music on it. Okay,
Okay.
and then I'll play it. But yeah, but I took a clip
Aw.
from our show last week.
Conversation.
Yeah, and I
Uh-huh.
reposted it on
Oh,
and actually all of my
Instagram.
social media. I did it on Instagram, TikTok,
Mhm.
Twitter, Facebook,
Oh,
and so
wow.
everybody's like,
Nice.
"Yes, yeah." So you gotta go look at it.
Oh, that's
So,
cool. That's so cool.
but anyway, this is Talk Time is with the Woods,
Yes.
and that's what our show has been the last several weeks. So yeah, so you were telling us, I cut you off. You were telling me about this interview you went on, and you said that you told them basically what you wanted, and so go ahead and
Right.
tell us that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked what was the salary because it seemed like they were going around in circles. They didn't want to mention it. So I asked, and they told me that they have a range, but I would find that out via HR. But they go, well, what would you expect? So I told them. So
Hmm.
once I told the young lady that was interviewing me, the manager, she goes, oh. oh well, that's good. I mean, if you're hired, HR is going to contact contact you. So I knew right then that I wasn't
Mhm.
going to get it, but I'm okay with it. The
Right.
reason why I'm okay with it is because
Mhm.
I know what I'm worth. I know what I would be bringing. I know what I am capable of.
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm not going to be upset and, try to negotiate down because I'm worth what I asked for.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I'm saying, and you said we've been doing therapy on ourselves, and that's one of the things that came out of it. I'm like, I'm going to ask for what I deserve. And so if you don't want
Right.
to give it, that's fine. I'm good.
But so often we do that. So I was talking to a friend of mine recently, right? And I was asking about the service that he does, and he's and this is a positive, right? A positive thing. And he said to me, "Oh, it costs such and such, but because you're my friend, I'm gonna bring it down." And I said to him, and I'm not calling his name, but if you're watching, I'm talking your story. That's right. I said to him, I said, don't ever say that again. And he said, "What do you mean?" I
Right.
said, when your price is your price,
Right.
what you're worth is what you're worth.
Right.
And what you can do is you can give additional value because I'm your friend, right? So, maybe I get an extra booklet or I get an extra perk or I get an extra whatever. But don't downgrade, right? Don't discount what you do because there's going to be so easy for you to continue doing that, right? So so as your friend, right? I actually should be the first one in line to pay you what you actually charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we often think the opposite. Because I'm your friend, you should give me a discount.
Less.
And I tell him, no, just what I want you to begin learning, and I'm not saying that I am perfect as this, right? Because I'm learning this as well. Because it's easy for me to do the opposite. Give additional value, right? And what you said, what you're worth, and that's what you're worth.
Yeah.
And then you sometimes you got to deal with whatever that is, right? So am I willing to take less for what I'm worth? Am I in the position right now to take less for what I'm worth?
Less.
Yeah, right. So then you have to make those kind of decisions.
Good decisions. Yeah. Yeah. But it was funny. I ended the interview. I was like, well, it's nice meeting you guys.
Okay.
If I'm hired, I'll see you guys again. Have a great day.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you guys.
But there's
That was
there's a level of confidence is included in this, but there's an aura that comes off of you when you are in that position where you know what you're worth. And I mean, you're willing to talk to people and give them that, but then you're willing to say, okay, if we can't come to an agreement, then okay, thank you for the opportunity for being in this space with you. And if we connect, if we work together, I'm good. But if not, thank you for seeing me. Boom, done.
Yeah. I feel great. I say, like we always say, if this may have been a year or so ago, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I messed up the interview. Oh my gosh. Now, not today.
Yeah.
Today, I'm good.
That self-talk is so powerful, right?
It is.
And it can drive what you do. In fact, Charmaine and I were talking this morning on our walk about this model of coaching that we all really do. That she's in the process of certifying for herself, but
nice.
it is the fact that our thoughts about things are what drive our feelings, our behavior, and the results.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But we've been saying since, we started our show, we don't realize that. We just don't until you do what we're doing,
Talk it through. Yeah,
and
you got to talk it through.
and bringing light to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love
So,
it.
yeah.
But
Um,
so what? So fill us in. What's been going on with you? I mean, we haven't talked about your journals in a bit.
yeah.
What's happening there, and what? I don't want you to give away your secrets about what's coming in the future, but what's happening with the journals?
The journals are there. I have ideas. I've been working on them here and there, but I pivoted a little bit. I'm looking into something else. But I said to myself this weekend, because my brain is just so tired right now from the thing that I pivoted to, that I would get back on there. And I remember you did mention a success journal. So I said, you know what? I'm going to kind of look into that one and get that one done and up there. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the
that would
journals
be
are there.
that.
I'm still working on them. I have not stopped, but I kind of slowed down just a tad. But I'm getting back into it. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
So success journal,
yeah,
I love it. Love the idea. It's one that's
yeah.
needed. I talk about success journals all the time
Mm-hmm.
to people, to tell them, hey, and once again, that's your record, yo. One of the things that
Yeah,
I do, as you know, I love genealogy, and so
you do.
I have all kinds of stuff here, genealogy wise, and it is so good to go back and look at documents that people have written.
Mm-hmm.
When our grandfather, when Daddy died,
Mm-hmm.
we were at the funeral, I had these sheets that I had given out to people to fill out, their family tree, mom, dad, grandparents, and so forth. And I don't know, it was probably 10 years later, one showed
Mm-hmm.
up in the mail that somebody had filled out, and then they sent me pictures and some other stuff. I was like, wow,
Oh, nice.
what a great resource to have, right? In terms
Mm-hmm.
of our family. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same thing with these journals, guys, that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you write that stuff, it's, and you may not even look at that again for another 5, 10, 15 years. But when you
Right,
look at
right.
it with a different perspective, right,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you so much value for history. And if you
Mm-hmm.
are looking at them, daily, weekly, and so forth, you're
Mm-hmm.
strengthening that coach that we've been talking about, right? That's the
Yeah,
whole, that
yeah,
cheerleader that you need. Yeah, all that
yeah.
stuff is in there because it's in your head, in your mind.
Yeah, you never really look at it. Like, what successes have you had that you never considered to be a success until maybe now that we're looking back and having these conversations?
You know what? And everybody talks about high school, but getting through tech
Mm-hmm.
is like, I thought, oh, it was no big deal, right? I
Mm-hmm.
went there, and but looking back now, that was where my curiosity was sparked. I mean, into
Mm-hmm.
technology and science and all those things. It was
Mm-hmm.
at tech where that all
It was a
started.
time.
Prior to that, if you remember, I was going to be a pastor, and not that pastors don't do science and so forth, but I was focused a lot on the arts, right? So
Right.
history, reading, philosophy, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hit tech, and we had to do those, we had to carry those T squares around for architecture, and we were using those lathes, and you had to draw, and you had the graphic design and all that stuff. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, this is exciting stuff. And so that's where my interest started. But looking back, back then I was
You
like,
don't think
man,
it,
I don't think this is anything. It was just another
it is
school.
another thing. Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing with my we're creatives, right? So I think my creative spark came and I realized I was a creative person and I didn't think anything of it when I jumped into it was culinary school. Yeah,
Mm,
I don't have nothing to do. I went to culinary school. I have a medal, but I don't think of it as an accomplishment. I just think of it as okay, it's something I did,
right, right.
and that led into, other things, painting and all that. But to say it now to you, it sounds like, oh, well, yeah, I did that. But if we didn't have this conversation today, I'd be like, oh, week, so
Right. Right.
it's not a big deal. So back to the success journal. If you write these things down, you can really look back and say, well, yes, I did that. And
But
strengthen your what is it
your
you call him?
your inner coach, and your cheerleader,
Yes.
coach and
Yes.
cheerleader. But that's part of this whole space that we're in now, this creator space that we talk about. One of the beauties about being in this space is that prior to now, like I was talking to one of our sisters, our oldest sister, I guess I call her name Natalie. So I was talking to her, and she is an artist. And so we're talking, and I said, this stuff is good. She's like, oh yeah, that's just what I do. So for us, for the people who are doing the things, it's just what we do. Not realizing that for people who can't do those things,
Yes.
right? It is a perfect place for us to step in and say, hey, I can show you that. I can show you that.
Right. Right.
One my video that I did today, my short that I put out, told the story of me going to the store to look for some gluten-free pasta. And so I get to the store, and I'm looking through, and I'm reading the thing. So I do what I normally do, which is go to the store, look, and they had rearranged the store a little bit. So I asked one of the guys who worked there, I said, hey, where can I find the gluten-free pasta? And he said, oh, here it is. And so he took me there, showed me the pasta. He said, hey, we got these things called talkers. And I was like, wait, what's a talker? And he said, if you look at the shelf, there's the little sign that tells you how much it's the price tag and whatever.
Yeah.
But on the talker, they have different colors now in their store. And gluten-free is purple. And he said, anywhere you see a purple is gluten-free. And Danita, when he said that, I looked down the aisle, and it was like, those signs where, right? And all this like, and say purple. I was like, was that there all the time? And he's like, yeah.
But you didn't know.
And I said, wow. And I didn't know until somebody showed me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so sometimes that's what we need, somebody to show us. So all the things that we do in our lives, all the things that we're good at, that's why the creator space, and that's why coaching, and that's why people are leaving their traditional jobs, because they're seeing now that they have the ability to teach people things that they know that they do, that they thought, oh, this is just what I do. But somebody else out there they don't know how to do that.
Right. So now you're the expert.
So now you become the expert.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
cool.
and yeah. So yeah. Beautiful. I love it.
That's cool.
I mean, I can't think, when I talk to my colleagues in medicine, and there's a lady, and I give a shout out to you, Dr. Una, who is she runs the Entree MD, and it's such a beautiful concept, but it was there all the time. But it took somebody to show us, right? So here's what she says. She says, you went through, you got into medical school, you got through medical school, you got through residency, and you're practicing as a physician. How many skills do you think you learned in those years? And most of us will be like, well, I just learned how to be a doctor. Well, no, you learned organization, you learned business development. If you start a practice, you learn techniques, you got certifications. So there are all these things that you had to master in order to be where you are. But we see that thing that we got, that degree, and now we're practicing medicine, and we've forgotten all the other stuff that we possibly could do. And they say, hey, why don't you do this thing over there? No, all I could do, I could just be a doctor. Well, no, you can't just be a doctor. You can be so many different things.
Yeah, because you're not paying attention to all those obstacles you came over to get to your end goal, right? You made all these little goals along the way, but to you, they mean nothing because you were trying to be a doctor. Yeah. So
And that's where that success journal would come in, right? So if you've
yeah,
been documenting all the stuff you did through the
then
course,
you
you've
can see
been
it.
like, yeah, you can
You can
see
see
it.
it. Yeah.
You're like, what? I did that? You're like, yeah, you did that, dude. I remember when I was a senior in my residency. So I did a 4-year residency, 2 years of peds and 2 years of internal medicine. And as senior, I was the night float. And so the
What's that
night
mean?
float, yeah. So the night float is the resident that's on. So everybody, all the other doctors are gone. Like all the other residents are gone. All the other people are gone. And you are in charge of the hospital. Like
Right.
anything that comes in the hospital is you.
It's you.
It's you.
Okay.
And I remember being the night float. And you do it for 30 days. Okay.
Okay.
And so in the morning, you would, present the patients that you picked up overnight. So anybody who came into the ER, anybody that you admitted, they, kind of quiz you on the procedures that you did, make sure you followed, you did the right thing, and which was very anxiety provoking sometimes, right? Because you're there and it's you, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and we got these 5 people who came in, and I'm going to do this, this, right? And this was at the VA, and so when those guys come in from the VA, they are they have a lot of stuff going on, so you got to make sure you dot all your I's, cross your T's. And I remember the last day I presented my last patient on grand rounds, on morning rounds, and I was driving away, and the month was done. It was over. I'm not going back tonight.
Right.
And it was like the sun was brighter. There were birds singing. There was a rainbow down the street, and everything was just brighter because I was done, right?
Done.
And I think back to that month often because I didn't document the stuff that I did that month. Like I was just trying to get through the month. Right? I was like, oh man, I gotta go because you slept during the day and you got to go get up and then you go, right. But those times of intensity, and I'm saying that to if you're out there right now and you have something that's going on in your life that is trying, it is rough, it is anxiety provoking, it is difficult, right? That right there is a skill that you're learning.
Yeah.
I want you to listen to me, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to get to the end. You're going to get to the other side of whatever it is that's going on, right? And to be able to now shepherd or guide somebody else who's going to go through that, because you're not the only one. And that's sometimes we think that the thing that we're doing, that we're going through, that like we're the only person on the planet that's going through that. No,
we're not.
There's a bunch of people out there that's going, and when you get to the other side, that's a perfect opportunity for you to have documented all this stuff. And of course, when you get to the other side, it's not like yesterday you were in it and today you're out of it. And you're like, oh man, let me go teach somebody else. You got to formulate it. How do you present that? What did you learn? What are the skills that you learned?
Right.
And how do I get it in a form that I could now show other people what to do?
Yeah.
I know I've been talking a lot.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's good. But you're right. Anything that you go through, any hardship, even if it's happy times, you develop skills to get on that to the other side. So the things you pick up, and so you could teach other people and help them through it.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
It's great. It's great because now you're like, this is what you do. Let me tell you. And now you feel good because now you can help somebody. But going through it, you be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Jesus, help me, please. Now it's like, let me tell you, you go here, and here. Get it done.
But that's what I love though about community, and you can't. I shouldn't say can't, because you can. If we're gonna be successful in that process that we just described, then our our thought of community is what our concept of community, right, helps us in that process. Because what I love about community is community says that I improve, but I don't improve by myself. I take
Yes.
people with me.
Yes. I'm learning that. I'm learning that here and in my new project. It's a huge community. And when I joined, like, you can just feel everybody just reaching out. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you. And I'm learning that. I never really knew what community is. For me, asking for help and receiving help is extremely difficult. But then you want it, you be like, nobody's helping me. But you don't know how to ask for it or receive it, which is the craziest thing.
Right.
But you saying that sparked, and I was saying that to myself throughout this whole journey with this new project. I'm like, this is different. And so I'm just kind of looking at people, and I'm on the outskirts because I don't know how to jump in yet because I'm still learning about community. So you're right. You can't get to anywhere by yourself. You have to have a community to get there. So
Right. Yeah. They say if you want to go somewhere, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. But that goes back to the whole idea. It takes a community to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
So we all, one of the difficult things that I deal with is a change in the concept of family and community, right? So I'm learning, because we went from a place of where community was, everybody was in everything, everybody was in all your business. Then we went to, well, I'm not telling anybody my business. And while that allowed us to go out into the world, right, and to do stuff, right, and stretch your legs or whatever you needed to do, I think it has fractured the community. I think the community is not as strong because we've almost kind of diluted it. Everybody is on their own. Like there's a guy that I talked to, a friend of mine, he talks about the fact that they used to get together all the time. I mean, they would have dinners, mom would cook, and everybody's coming over on Sundays or whenever, right? And then, one moved away, this one moved away, that one moved away, this one moved away, which is great because everybody's doing their thing. But the connection, right? Go back to my word, the richness that we get from being connected is lost.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, so we got to fix that. But I mean, how does that get fractured? Is it in the community? Are you really trying to be helpful, or are you trying to be intrusive? You know what I mean?
Well, I see what you're saying. Are you really interested because you're trying to help me, or are you interested because you're just being nosy? Is the question.
Yeah.
And
which then makes you just not
Go
want to
ahead.
be bothered because I need your help and support. I don't need your nosiness, right?
Right.
So
So we have created, I think in our modern society, in our modern culture, we have created this idea of nosiness.
okay.
Okay. Now, and I'm not saying that all that was back then was good, right? So that's not by any means.
Yeah.
But people were in your business. That was their job, to be in your business.
Right.
Okay. So now what we should have learned, I think, in the modern era was this concept of boundaries, and we've talked about boundaries. Okay.
Yeah.
But what we've done as a result of so it's almost like we're recoiling from what was going on back then. Like, man, everybody was in everything. Everybody knew everything, and people were just in everybody's business. And so we recoiled from that, and we came up with these boundaries. But the boundaries, instead of like being, okay, you just need to not come into my space, it's like I'm going across country now.
Yeah. You're not going to be in any part of my space.
You're not going to be in any part of my space. Well, not only does that accomplish what you think it does, right? Which is like people aren't in your business. But now there's separation, and you're over across country, and you don't have the support of the people who were there, right? People who went through the stuff. And well, I'm not going to listen to mommy. I'm not going to listen to daddy because, I'm smart and I know what I'm doing. I've got a degree. I went to school. They didn't do that. But there is some wisdom in the stuff that they did and the stuff that they say that we lose. And our children lose that because there is no connection. There's no thread that runs through, right, that community. So now all of a sudden we've got to recreate, and we've got to do these artificial things now because there's not genuine connection.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So, yeah, community, guys.
Community. I mean, it's so important, right? There are things that you do. Like, I tell you, I'm going to give a shout out to Pastor Kirk Nugent. When I started watching him, I started emulating him. What he did, the stuff, the equipment that he had. Even if you look at my background, right, and you look at his early backgrounds, this is him. Okay. And so I decided I didn't have to remake the wheel. It was already done, and it was already being successful. The other person I listened to was a guy in the name of Doc Rock. Okay. And learned from him, and right. So all of the graphics that I do now, when I first started doing this stuff and using the software, I watched Doc Rock. I would be on his show. Okay, what is he doing? What is he doing? Right. And so the things that I do, the way I do things, comes directly from him. Okay.
Wow.
And so I could have gone back and just started from scratch, which is what I did initially. But I said, wait a minute, there are these people who are there. And so going back to the family, dad, father, grandfather, whoever it is, they came from a certain place. And, they may not have made big moves, but they made some moves. And so started with grandfather. So grandfather made some moves. And now father made some moves. And he didn't do everything right. Right? So you stand on them. And then now I come and I stand on him. And when Blake comes, Blake stands on me. But if we don't have those places where people are standing on each other because they're like, I'm not even messing with y'all. See, you're starting from ground zero.
All the time.
Every generation is starting from ground zero.
Going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. And we're like, well, why aren't we getting any traction? Because you're not using the stuff that you got from the family. Yeah. Yep. No foundation. And so, guys, as we're talking, I'm talking to myself as well.
Yeah. Hello. Did we not say into the woods? We are the woods.
We are the woods. Into the woods. Into the woods. So, one of the things that I think about often is so our grandfather left his family
to the bush.
Okay. And then our father essentially left his family to be right. And I want you to let me describe a scenario that happens a lot. Okay. So man meets woman. And if they're not careful, man lives near woman's family all the time and he never lives by his family. Or woman lives with man's family all the time and she never lives with her family. Okay. So our grandfather left his family early on, got married. And then our father did that thing that I just told you. So we lived with my mom's family most of the time. Didn't know much about my father's family.
Right.
And I got married and I moved away, right? That we're going to go get successful. We're going to go learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been away with my wife's family. And so now Blake is growing up and he's with his mom's family essentially, right?
Family. Yeah.
So if we're not careful, right? So this I just turned 55, y'all. So, sometimes I'm as I'm sitting late in the night, I guess this is what happens when you get this old. You start thinking back to stuff.
You do.
And you're like, okay, what do I do now? Right? What do I do now? And I talk a lot about routines. And one of the things that I've done recently, so in the morning, so I used to be a very, I get up in the morning and boom, I'm on fire, right? I hit the ground. Hello, good morning, everybody. And over the years, life happens. And, as I get up and I'm, good morning. Hi. You got that kind of night phase, right? But recently I said, no, that's not how my day is going to start. Right. My day is going to start differently. I'm going to get up. Like this morning I said, good morning, family. I think Charmaine looked up. She's like,
you all right?
I guess she was wondering what's something wrong with you. But it's the little thing. And I'm going to tell you something that since I started doing that, I see a difference in my son.
Okay.
Because after all, who is he going to be like?
Yep. You.
He's going to be like me.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the stuff that I tell him that he's going to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the stuff that he sees that he emulates.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. They say more things are caught than that are taught. That's it right
true.
there.
That's true. That's scary.
Yeah.
That is scary. Because some of the things you're yelling at your kids about, you're literally yelling at yourself. It's just made larger by them. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I got some work to do.
They amplify it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So this week's topic is community. Community, guys. Start a community, reconnect, close up those fractures, get the community back together. It's important.
Right. But one of the things, so last week we were talking, and one of the things that happens to us is that we actually pull back from community during difficult times.
Yeah.
We tend to isolate, which those are the times we should reach out to community. And it happens all the time. For instance, we go to church, and sometimes you go to church and you're hurting, and people say, "Hey, how's it going?" And because we are our isolated little unit, we don't want anybody in the business. Like, "Oh yeah, we're doing fine. Happy Sabbath," and
or if people just think that you're always okay, you're that strong person. And back to what I said, let's say you have a community that is strong and everything, you just don't know how to ask. You know what I mean? So sometimes we do pull back, but I'm going to say for myself is I just don't know how to ask, and then I don't know how to receive. So
okay.
It is a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about both of those. So asking.
Okay.
So what position, what posture do you need to be in to be able to ask for help?
So when you say posture, what do you mean posture?
Like what mindset, what has to be going on in you and your mind to be able to ask for help?
in a perfect world, when I would ask, I just can't. I just can't go anymore. I have nothing left. I don't know. I absolutely don't know what to do. I spun my wheels. I have no more wheels. They fell off. And so
Hmm.
now I need some help,
Some help,
right?
right? With it. Okay.
Right. So, but then, like I said, the other side kicks in. Okay, so well, I need help, but the wheel fell off. But there's a little piece right here. Let me stick it back together. Maybe keep
Okay,
going.
well, we'll come to that part in a minute. We'll come to that part in a minute. That receiving the help, but let's go back to our idea of community for a second, right?
Right.
Does the house have to burn down before you allow the community to help you?
Almost.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to.
Yeah. It doesn't have to, but it's almost like it's in my head. It's like it's almost I should be able to deal with this, or I should be able to accomplish this, or I should be able
Ah,
to fix this without
okay.
the assistance
Of other
of
people.
others.
So, is there a component of pridefulness there?
I think so. I think so. I
Hmm.
think so, and I think that's going back. Remember, we always talk about, what do you call them? Yeah, your family of
FOMO,
origin.
family of origin. Hmm.
Yeah, we've
I mean, not
watched
FOMO,
our
but
mom.
yeah, foo, yeah.
Foo. We watch our mom. You don't ask.
Hmm.
You just do it. You figure out a way to do it. Now, if it's done correctly, great. If it's done incorrectly, oh well. You're gonna go back to the wheel and
Hmm.
figure it
Hmm.
out. So, but yeah, I guess that's where I get it from. You know,
Okay.
you really don't
So,
ask.
so to answer the question, how do we ask for help? And back to my
Hmm.
question about the posture that you need, that is the mindset. So we got to get rid of that pride.
Yeah, yeah, because I can't answer that because I don't know how to do it.
Right?
I
So,
don't. I
that's
really don't.
the key. That's it right there. Pride. We got to get rid of the pride.
Hmm.
Right. That that you that you, that it's okay for the community to support me.
Mm. Okay.
Right? Because
That.
after all, I am bringing value to the community. So if I'm helping to build the community,
Hmm.
and that should be my mindset, right? So I'm
Right.
I'm trying to build up the community.
Hmm.
If that's the case, then it's okay for the community to support me as I do the things that are needed to make
Hmm.
myself better, so that I can then produce or pour into the community.
So let me ask you this. Let's
Hmm.
say you get to that place where you can ask,
Hmm.
right? So now you've asked, you grit your teeth, you went there,
Hmm.
and then you can't get the help that you need.
Hmm.
Then what? What do you do then? Because we're speaking about ourselves, right?
Hmm.
Into the woods. Most times for me,
Hmm.
I feel like if I ask, there's no help to be had. The one and a half times maybe that I did that.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? So
Hmm.
what do you do
Right.
then?
Yeah, but that goes back to this posture idea, this mindset idea, right? So
Mhm.
that when I go to the community for help,
Mhm.
the community may or may not be able to help me.
Right.
Let's pause there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the community may or may not be able to help me.
Okay.
All the community may be able to say is, "Hey, I'm here. I'm with you. I see
Support.
what's going on. You can come lay your head on me. You can come lay down in my floor if you don't got a place to live, right? So those types of things. And what happens is that we get mad at the community when the community doesn't support us with the things that we think with the way we need. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, well, they didn't help me that last time, so I'm not even going to ask them again. Well, who are you hurting
Yeah, so
by not asking? Right?
Yes,
Well, I mean, but you get the idea, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I understand it. You know, I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean, we know these things, right?
Right.
It's not like we don't know. We just go ahead and continue to do it. Like, like a crazy person expecting something different.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying to you. I'm learning that. I'm learning more now through the processes and the community I told you I just learned. I'm learning more now. So little by little, I guess I will get rid of that pride. But it's still strong right now.
Oh yeah, it's those things are ingrained, right? It's kind of like sometimes you see a lawn that they've worn a path through, right? And and you're trying to walk, and your foot goes into that path. I mean, it's like natural; it just falls in. You throw a ball, and the ball goes in that path. And most people would think that the way to stop these things in our personality and the way that we do things is to rebuild the ground under the path.
Right.
That's not the way.
Yeah.
It is to find a different path.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
So that when that ball drops, it no longer goes down the worn path. It goes down the path you want it to go down. And that takes time. It takes practice, and it takes intentionality.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like you said, it's very easy to fall down that path.
Oh,
but, in building that new path, you have to realize you're in that old path, though. Sometimes you fall into it and be like, oh, this feels cool. I think
because it's natural.
A little bit. Yes. And you are mistaken, but you're like, no, because I'm not getting to where I need to be, so now I gotta try to get out.
Gotta get out of it, right?
It's so comfortable, but you gotta realize that it's not good, and then that old comfortability now has to become uncomfortable for you,
right?
To build that new path. Yeah.
So pride, right? So not asking. So now you've asked, how do you accept when the community says, okay, sure, let me do this for you?
Boy, you asking a lot. How do you accept? I don't know. I don't know. We gotta get past the asking first. The accepted part is like, you sure you want to do that? Like, what you need me to do?
Right.
You know.
So there's a component of pride there as well. Okay, there's a component of pride. Well, because we feel like we're bringing ourselves lower.
Right.
Well, I had to ask for help.
Right.
So, man, something must be wrong with me. I was inadequate. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand on my own. Right. So all those things go through our mind. So we've got to get over those things, for one.
Right.
We've got to get over the anger and the hurt that the community didn't help us the last time, right? Because we so this time we made up our mind. Well, they didn't ask me, they didn't help me last time, but I'm gonna go back to them, right? And if they say yes, I'm still thinking, well, do I want to accept their help this time, right? So that's still going through our mind. So we got to get over that,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And then we accept it without expectation.
Okay.
Like you said, well, what do I have to do for it? Right? Because we're already putting criteria. It's like, well, okay, they're gonna make me sign away my first child. I'm gonna have to give my kidney, right? So we're already putting these things on the community, right?
Right.
So there is already kind of a standoffishness. So they're bringing it, but we got all these barriers that we've got to get through just to open our hands and take it. and we say stuff like now here's a good one. And we all do this, right? We all do this. You're out with a bunch of people, okay, and you pay, whatever, maybe you decide, okay, I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna pay for it. And you almost don't want to pay because you almost don't have the money. And somebody next to you said, "Hey, here's $20." What do you say? Oh, that's okay.
That's right, I got it.
And you know that you need that $20.
It's
right?
true. It's so true. You want nobody to know, you can't really cover it.
Right, you don't want anybody to know. But here's somebody who's offering you money. They're giving you the money. You didn't have to go ask them for the money. They're giving it to you, but because of your pride, right? Because they wouldn't even know. They're giving you. I said thank you, and they wouldn't even think anything else about it. But you've created this story in your head that they're going to be driving home thinking, man, Danita's poor. How would she took my $20, right? Them people not even thinking about you.
That's true. That is true. Man, listen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think everybody on the planet needs to work on that.
Yes.
Oh my God. So both ends of that is pride.
There's pride in there.
Okay. All right, well, I go write about that.
We need a pride journal.
I mean,
See, the last time Danita offered to help pay something at the table, I declined when I knew I needed that $20.
You understand? Talk about it. That's funny. That's funny. But I mean, we're laughing really hard about this, but it's very serious, and it hinders. It's another thing that hinders us in our progress of anything we're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it shows up in other places. It shows up on our job. It shows up in our other interaction with other people. And that's why community can be fractured, and it's hard to kind of get over that because there are all these barriers now that we got to get. And not that if we weren't together, there wouldn't be things that happen. But when families are together, there's craziness that happens, right? So first of all, family is going to be crazy, but the barriers that we've got to get through to reconnect with each other are not there, right? So imagine what happens when you've been away out of the community for 10, 15, 20 years. And you're now showing back up into the community. There's some community dynamics that you don't even understand anymore. Yeah. Right? Because you haven't been there.
Yeah.
Right. This one looks at that one and they got a message already from looking at each other. And you're like, what just happened? What's going on? Right. So there are all these things that we've got to get through, but so important if we're going to succeed.
Yeah.
And if we're going to succeed well, then community is so important. And in all the stuff that I talk about, whenever I'm talking about whether it's a health issue, financial issue, a personal development issue, a mindset issue, always on that list is find a group that you connect with that can support you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
None of the lists that I create, even when I did my book, The 7 Keys to Success, one of the things in there, find a community. How do you make 2023 a good year? One of the things in there, find a community. How do you get good success in your content creation? Find a community.
It's true. I can't say it enough. I am learning. I have found one and I love it. And it's very important. It's very, very important. Yeah.
Right. Cool. So, okay, community, ask for help, accept help, reconnect.
Say thank you.
But it all starts right here, Danita, man. And I don't know if you remember the very first time we started talking about this. It was like everything that we saw, everybody that we talked to, every encounter that we had with people, it was change your mindset, change your behavior, change your result.
It is. It was. And it was weird. It was like, are we not talking about that? Like, everybody was saying the same thing. Like, Dwayne, you notice such and such? And guys, by the way, this is our anniversary. You realize this is our anniversary? Last year, this week, yes, was the first time that we sat with you when we were there with you.
Was it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's get some music. Ooh, happy anniversary, Into the Woods. I didn't even realize. Wow. Okay, we got to do something maybe next week. Yeah, to celebrate.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it was as if, like you said, the purple labels. We started talking about it, and so now everywhere we turned, we heard it. Because now it's in our minds. It's our intention now is to do this and, change our mindset. Yeah. Right, so it was cool.
Yay. Cool. Love it. All right. So, Danita, what's the call to action? What do we want people to do?
We want you to find a community, find that community that will support you. Ask for the help and take it.
Find the community, ask for help, and take it when they give it to you. Find the community, ask for help, and accept it when they take it. When they
That's
offer
right.
it. Right.
The offer. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. So that was a good conversation. And as we talk, right, and as we've said at the top of the show, Into the Woods, the idea is that as we talk, there are things that you connect with. Maybe not everything. But there's something that we've said that we hope connects with you, that you resonate with, and that you could then take that and we can all come out of the woods. What does coming out of the woods look like? That's what the call to action is. Now that we've had this conversation, we identify the things that are going on in our lives and in our minds. We identify the behaviors that are not working for us. Now we take some action, right? We take some action in order to come out of the woods. That is finding that community. That is being able to ask for help. That is being able to accept help. Now, in the process of doing that, you may have to do some additional work. You may have to find a coach. You may have to find a counselor that helps you, right, overcome those barriers that we talked about. Because there are some of those paths that have been worn into us by life. Those paths are pretty deep, and now we've got to begin building or creating new paths, and we may need help for that. Okay, so if you need help, once again, this goes back to the whole thing. If you need help, you got to get help.
Yeah.
Because if we stay in the same place, if we stay in the same posture and attitude and mindset, then nothing changes, and the community suffers from it as a result of it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you are out there, we thank you for being there with us. Thank you for joining us. Give us a thumbs up. Drop us a comment drop us a note in the comments. Let us know that you are there, that you're out there, that you watched. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and put #replay in the comments. If you are working, if you're going to be taking that call to action that Danita gave, that is finding the community, asking for help, and accepting it, I want you to put in the comment yes. That's all you got to do. Just put yes in the comments when you watch the video, and we know that you are with us in that. Finally, if you have not subscribed to us, go ahead and do so. You hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we go live and when we have other videos or other things that we're doing on the channel. If you don't have an account, go ahead and create one. It's free. And if you know someone who wants to do it, they don't know how to do it, go ahead and help them. And that way we are helping to build the community, right? So that's what we're doing, building that community. Anyway, this is Dwayne.
This is Danita. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.